Hey Boo, welcome to another live episode of Confident AF Live. We are continuing our series, How to Create Unrealistic Results Inside of Your Business that make people's heads turn and go, what? How did they do that? Every single time I say that makes me laugh inside. I love it so much. I hope you've been enjoying this series as much as I have. Today we're talking about stepping out in faith, boo. We're talking about leaving that nest because you believe and you know that the worms are out there for you. It's an old saying that I've been saying now for many, many years, and I don't remember where I first heard it, but it was this idea that God will bring the worms, but he's not going to put them in the nest. You got to leave the nest to find the worms, and they're out there for you inside of your business. And so today we're talking about this idea that you cannot create unrealistic results while waiting to feel ready, for waiting for the perfect time, for waiting for the perfect circumstances. It will never happen, boo. I have seen so many people remain stuck for years where they are. Same income, same clientele, same home situations, circumstances. And honestly, it's really, really sad. It's sad because I feel like some of us are waiting to be saved inside of our business, waiting for a miracle to happen. When God's already done the miracle, he's already sent his son, he's already paid the ultimate price. You have the gift of grace and unmerited favor. He has already said that you don't have to be afraid, and faith is what activates everything else. And when you have faith, you are willing to move forward even though you don't know exactly how the results are going to turn out. And that's why what we're talking about today is so incredibly important. Faith is not having all the answers. Faith is not knowing how all the results are going to happen when you step out. Faith is not having any specific guarantees. And I think that's one thing that God is still working with me on, is this idea that I have a vision of what I'm creating in my businesses. I have a vision of how I want to help all of you all that are listening, that are watching. I have a vision, I have desire, I have my dreams, I have my imagination. But sometimes we get disappointed because things don't manifest exactly how we expect them to or how we envision them to. But you have to remember, God always wants the best for you. He always wants the best for you. So sometimes the best for you that's going to lead you is not going to be exactly how it looks. And, if everything has to be exactly how you looks, then that's not true faith and trust in what God has in store for you. So faith is always going to be about moving. It's always about moving. Even when you don't have all the answers, you don't have all the facts, and when you still have this internal certainty, though, you still have this internal certainty of God's love, provision, and favor, that your desires are meant for you, that it will work out for you. You just know. You just have this internal certainty, but you don't know exactly how, right? And so a lot of people are waiting for absolute clarity before they act. And clarity is a beautiful thing. We've talked about clarity on this podcast and YouTube channel before. Clarity is a whole module inside of my mastermind. When you ask God for wisdom, he of course will give you clarity, because clarity is really important how you direct. But when I say waiting for clarity, a lot of people are waiting to know everything before they move forward. And you're never going to know everything. You're not. You're just not going to know everything. So if you expect to be all-knowing, you're not. Only God is. So you're not going to have this ripe fullness of knowing everything before you move. And the truth is, real clarity really starts to come into when you're actually taking action inside of your business and you have something to measure, feedback, progress. Think about mile markers. Think about KPIs, key performance indicators for your business, not before it. Movement is what actually allows you to receive feedback to see if you're moving further away from your goal or closer toward your goal, right? And this feedback allows you to change your approach, to change your behavior to get there closer. So most people think inside of their business, once I know this will work, then I'll go all in. But Faith says, I'm going all in and I know it will work out in my highest good and favor, which is a huge difference. And if you require absolute knowing of everything before you move, you will stay exactly where you are. Exactly where you are. And I've seen it, and it's really sad. And of course, the biblical example of this would be Abraham. You know, going back to the Old Testament and how God told him to go to a land and I will show you. He didn't tell him where it was. He didn't tell him how it's going to work out or what it will look like. It was just go. And what did Abraham do? He went without a map, without full understanding, without guarantees. Clarity, y'all, does not come before you obey or before you're led, before God gives you the wisdom. It comes after the movement. Have you ever talked to anybody and they go, how did you build your business? And they go, well, I did this, this, and this, and this, and this. But they always tell you that they have clarity after they built their business, like full clarity, I should say, meaning they could not see how all the dots would be connected. But looking back, they can connect all the dots. So if you expect yourself to be able to connect all the dots while you're building your business now to see where it's going, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and heartache because you're never going to be able to do that until you look back, because that's the whole beauty of building your business is you're supposed to trust God. You're supposed to step out in faith. You're supposed to take it one step at a time. So you don't need to know every strategy. You don't need to have, I do think it's important to have certainty in the outcome, but you don't have to know exactly how it's all going to work out. And you're never going to know all the pieces. You're not. You just need a willingness to move. Now let's talk about some science. Science. First of all, you have what's called behavioral activation. I don't know if y'all are familiar with this. This was a little bit newer for me, but it's a psychological principle used to treat anxiety, depression, and avoidance. So this is how it works. Instead of waiting to feel motivated, you take action first. And what happens is by taking action first, that action creates momentum. And that momentum creates motivation. And that motivation creates more action. And, you know, if you've ever read Jim Quick's book, Limitless, which is a great book, I highly recommend it. He talks about the competence confidence loop. And the idea is that when you're learning a new skill inside of your business, when you increase your competency in that skill through repetition, you gain a new level of confidence, certainty in your ability to do that skill. Now, I believe that Mr. Jim Quick forgot another C word in there, which is courage. Because you have to have courage to face your fears, to try and learn the new skill that you've never had before. So I believe you have to have courage to face the fear. As you face the fear and you do the skill, you create competency. That competency creates confidence, which is a new level of certainty. That new level of certainty creates a new level of courage for you to face a fear on a higher level. But the point is very simple in all of this. You don't wait to feel ready. You act, and then as you increase your competency, your skill, you'll increase your certainty, and the readiness follows. The other thing is called exposure response, which is action reduces fear of the thing. So fear actually decreases when you face the thing, take action, and you gain familiarity with the thing. It's like my favorite analogy of all time I've been using on this podcast and YouTube channel for years now, which is you got to ride the Velocicoaster, or you got to ride Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. You have to do the things that you're afraid of. And when you face your fears, on the other side are your biggest blessings, always inside of your business. So if you're afraid of sending 20 emails in a day, send 20 emails in a day. That's what one of my coaches had me do. She literally said, I want you to email your email list as many times as you can until you think everybody's going to unsubscribe. And when you think they're going to unsubscribe, email them again. And when you swear they're all going to unsubscribe, email them again and again and again. And I ended up sending, I think, 17 emails in one day. My email subscribe rate did not skyrocket at all. It still stayed less than 1%. It was crazy. But what happens is the brain goes from this is unknown and dangerous to this is familiar and this is manageable and we can totally do this. So fear doesn't disappear before action. I know a lot of you are waiting for that fear to go away. It doesn't. Fear only disappears when you take the action. And what you need for that is you need courage. And then, of course, we talked about the confidence, competence, courage loop already. So that's also really, really important. And we can take this back to a great Bible verse in Hebrews, which Hebrews 11, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Now, it's really important for you all to know that this definition of hope is absolute certainty and full assurance. It is not the American definition of hope, which is like more like wishful thinking. And I doubt, but I want to believe that's not what this is. And it's evidence of things not seen. So faith is based not on what you can see. It's not based on what you know, what you can prove. Faith is moving before the evidence shows up. So I want you to ask yourself, honestly, am I moving toward things inside of my business? Am I trying things before the evidence shows up that I can do it or that I'm meant for it or that people want it? I mean, think about, I just got through launching a brand new workshop called Draft Picks Live, where I'm teaching agency owners how to prevent the bench warmers and groupies problem inside of the travel industry. I had no idea what the impact or what people were going to think about it would be, but I had the faith that it would work out, that people would want it, that people would buy it. And it was exactly what I just said, is it's moving before the evidence showed up. I had no evidence that people would want it. So if you're a solopreneur right now, you might be waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel confident, waiting to figure it out. You don't need to feel ready. You don't even need to feel confident. You need to move anyway. That stuff is going to follow. I want you to pick one action, one thing that you're delaying right now inside of your business, whether it's posting, launching, reaching out, selling, whatever it is, and I want you to do it today. And I want you to do it with positive expectation of God's blessings and favor, and I don't want you to overthink it, okay? Now, if you have a small team, maybe your team is hesitant, overthinking, or waiting for direction. Momentum is built through action, not discussion. So I want you to choose one initiative this week and start immediately. Refine as you go and keep moving. And if you have a Slack channel or a team channel, I want you to build that momentum and encourage one another, have the team encourage one another to do that. Now, if you're a leader who's scaling, this shows up as delaying big moves, waiting for, I guess, all the data to come in before you make your decision, over analyzing expansion. And I just want you to move forward. Make one bold move this week, okay? One bold move, whether it's hiring, whether it's investing in something, whether it's launching something new, whatever it is, make one bold move before you feel 100% ready. Because remember, faith is not passive. Faith without works is dead, right? Works shows that you have faith. So it's not waiting, it's not hoping, it is leaving that nest, it is actually moving forward without needing every answer, because the people who create unrealistic results inside of their business aren't the ones who feel ready. They're the ones who moved even when they didn't feel ready. And once you start moving in faith, boo, the next things that will determine your results, we're really talking about partnerships here, is how you choose to see the people. And that is going to be our next episode in how to create unrealistic results inside of your business and turn people's heads so they go, what? How did they do that? If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you're listening on podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts, give a review and share this with other people who need some incredible encouragement. Thank you so much for watching and listening, Boo. We'll see you next week.